Maybe a minute.
And then showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 105. And zooming in here on the open window and the orange ball there at the bottom, the red-brown staining right above that. Did you examine photos of that?
I did.
And showing you your notes E18. Is that a close-up of that red-brown staining on the open windowsill?
It is.
And what, if anything, can you tell us, based on your training experience, about this area?
So similar to the stain that was on the inside of the window on the windowsill, this stain on the outside didn't give me enough information to say the size or shape. So the only thing I could come to the conclusion was that it was a transfer stain. So some sort of bloody object coming in contact with a surface causing the transfer of that blood.
And are you able to tell the direction of that blood or how it was applied or anything like that?
There's not enough information in that stain to give that conclusion.
So basically all you can tell us is that something with blood on it touched that windowsill and left blood. Something with a red-brown stain on it touched that windowsill and left a red-brown stain.
Correct.
We could have E18 marked as the next exhibit.
All right, that may be admitted.
And then showing you what's previously been marked as Exhibit 108. The top of the first floor windowsill. Did you examine those red-brown stains?
I did not.
I have no further questions.
All right. Mr. Reddington.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Just a couple of questions. You are, is it correct, you're a trained scientist? Is that what you're referred to? Or?
I'm classified as a forensic scientist at the supervisory level.
Okay. And Maureen Hartnett would be classified as what?
She's a forensic scientist as well. The step below me, forensic scientist 2.
Okay. And is she the one that does testing on objects or items or substances to see if they're a particular, for example, blood?
She does do that. She is also trained in documentation of blood stains. So generally, that's why we do a lot of our examination through photos. So a forensic scientist 2 could be at the scene, do all of the documentation, make sure the photos are taken, and then those are examined back at the laboratory by in our case in Massachusetts, it's all supervisors in the crime scene response unit that do bloodstain pattern analysis. We are also all trained in the identification of those biological fluids, doing a screening test as well as a confirmatory test for blood.
I don't want to be referred to as grumpy, but I'm just going to ask if you can just kind of keep your answers down a little bit to like maybe a yes and a sentence after that.
Okay.
Okay. So when you go to a crime scene, you're usually with a team. In other words, like Maureen Hartnett might be there, right?
Correct.
And other state troopers might be there searching the area, right?
Correct.
And one of the things that you are doing is relying, if you will, on your associates or other people that are working that particular crime scene to do appropriate and adequate testing of substances, right?
Correct.
So, for example, and again, when you're investigating on a murder case and you're dealing with substances that are deposited, for example, in that bedroom, the master bedroom, it's not appropriate, if you will, to speculate that something is blood, and that's why it's referred to as a red-brown stain, right?
Correct. We use...
But your experience is such that you have a wealth of knowledge as to the ability to draw an inference as to what it might be, right?
We're not able to look at a red-brown stain and call it blood. We call it by adjectives, so it would be deemed as a red-brown stain. We have to wait until we do a confirmatory test to say whether we call it human blood or not.
So when you say a confirmatory test, you're referring to the fact that you have a screening test that you can do that initially would determine if it's possibly blood, right?
Correct.
Then it goes to the next phase, which would be a confirmatory test, which Ms. Hartnett would do, right?
Correct.
And then you go to the determination as to whether it's animal or human. It might be a primate blood, but it could be a human blood, and then you determine that it's human blood, right?
The next step after Maureen is actual DNA, so it will tell you whether it's human or not human and whose blood it actually is.
Okay. So we know that there was a transfer stain from the inside of the house, if you will, onto that ledge on the right-hand side of the window, right?
I believe it was on the left-hand side.
Okay, so as you're looking out the window, it's your understanding that the smudge, if you will, that was on that window was on the left-hand side?
I believe so.
Looking at Exhibit 106. That shows this first floor window, right?
Correct.
And then farther up, it shows the second floor window, right?
Correct.
So if one was standing on the inside of the master bedroom and leaned on it with blood on their hand, or red substance, it would be on the right-hand side of that ledge on the window, right?
Correct. The one on the outside was on the right-hand side. The one on the inside, I believe, was on the left-hand side.
Now, you know that that was not tested, right?
I don't know if it was tested.
All right, you don't know what it is, right?
I called it a red-brown stain.
But the bottom line is, in your experience, looking at that bedroom with all of what you determined in the investigation to be blood, the inference that you would draw is that that's blood from somebody's hand, right?
Correct. And that is what is stated in my report.